Today we got to talk about Caleb Kelly and some other stuff that sucks, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today we have to start Monday with the crappiest news in college football. Redshirt senior, that's his 5th year, Caleb Kelly, has once again blown out his ACL. This sucks, man. Caleb Kelly does not deserve this. As much as I want the dude to succeed, and I have been on him about how his development needs to go, the luck that this man has had with his ACLs is just terrible. I mean, after redshirting and then getting usurped by Curtis Bolton in 2018 for the starting job at will linebacker, he took it and understood it and then tried to make strong side linebacker work, tried to make rushing linebacker work. None of that took. He comes back in 2019 to find out that his season ends during spring practice where he needs to have surgery on his knee. But he is a valued member of Brian Odom's linebacking room, and he had helped Deshaun White and Kenneth Murray and the like continue to get better. And we saw this makes me so upset. All right, Caleb Kelly was a big reason as to why so many of the linebackers at Oklahoma felt so good about how they played last year. And even when they had bust, he was an aggressive leader, he was a positive leader, and he was learning how to do both media and coaching the kids up. So with Kenneth Murray Jr., Deshaun White, you saw what they were capable of. And this year, we were expected to see Deshaun White at Mike linebacker and Caleb Kelly at will linebacker. Now it looks like Brian Asamoah is probably going to get that start at will linebacker out of necessity, with Brian Meade, Jamal Morris, and Robert Barnes all trying to fight for that spot. Whether or not you want to move Deshaun White to will and make room for somebody else at Mike is open to question. And quite honestly, that's the least of the worries for Oklahoma right now. I feel for Caleb Kelly. He does not deserve this. This is a kid that's played just 41 games in 5 years, had 160 tackles in those 41 games, 11 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and a pick, and has been monumental in huge games for Oklahoma. The West Virginia game in 2018, he and Curtis Bolton to help bring Oklahoma into a game that they had to win to get to the Big 12 championship game, get them to the college football playoff. The 2017 TCU game, such a big deal in that Big 12 championship game. And this year, I was expecting to see him have the kind of season that Neville Gallimore had last year, where maybe he could put together 100 tackles, maybe 15 tackles for loss, and like 5 sacks, and really show that he is the kind of linebacker that we all projected him to be in the 2016 class when he was number 24 player in the country, a 5-star stud, the rare 5-star that committed to play at Oklahoma and was projected to lead that class to great heights. And when he came on the scene with the Sugar Bowl at Auburn, we all thought there's the next great inside linebacker for Oklahoma. Wasn't to be. And I would not blame Caleb Kelly if he decided that he was done playing football, because this is absolute garbage and this sucks. And then there's the news that Mordecai is probably sidelined, which doesn't help things. I mean, many of us expected that Spencer Rattler would take that job, win that job, and be the starting quarterback for Oklahoma in week 1, whenever week 1 is. If it's August 29th, if it's September 12th, we'll find out together. And yet, what you know now is that Tanner Schaefer is more valuable than he's ever been before. Because if Rattler takes the wrong shot to the head, or the wrong shot to the knee, or maybe his knees go out, you're left with Tanner Schaefer, who, by the way, is really an outstanding quarterback. I mean, he's undefeated as a starter. That's going back to high school plus 2 years. And if you watch the video that I did with Jalen Conyers, you'll know that he is West Texas high school legend in and of himself. Like, it's him and Kyler Murray put together 2 of the best careers in recent memory for a quarterback in the state of Texas as a quarterback. Now, I expect to hear some good news here later on, but right now, this all sucks. And then we add to this the Gary Patterson stuff, man. Like, don't say the N-word. There's no reason for you to say the N-word in a group setting at all, period. You cannot say it. It's fine. Why? So the news is Gary Patterson allegedly went after one of his players for posting about his girlfriend online, and then started saying that this kid used the N-word in meetings and all the time. And then Gary Patterson threatened to send him back to Pitt, which is something he's done to many players, threatened to send them home. Other coaches do this all over the place. Kirk Ferentz at Iowa did it. Strength and conditioning coach at Iowa did it. He's taken the buyout. And yet, what we're coming to find out is, especially right now in this age of Black Lives Matter in social justice, the last thing you should be saying to your mostly black football team is the N-word. In any context. We saw how this worked for Dabo Sweeney and his assistant. Like, Danny Perriman had no business using that word. None of us have any business using that word. There's no reason for you to use that word. I don't care where you heard it. I don't care who you hear say it. It's like dropping an F-bomb. I don't drop F-bombs here because it offends you. If it did not offend you, we wouldn't be talking about it. But since this is a family channel and I try to take into account everybody watches this thing with their kids, I refrain from cussing like a sailor, which is quite honestly something that I might do when I'm not in your presence. Because when you are talking to a group of people, you need to know who's in the room. You need to take knowledge of who is in the room. There's no reason for us to use this kind of language, especially when you are a leader addressing kiddos, right? Like, I even try to refrain from using damn on the channel, right? Or hell, and yet it still slips out. So I work hard at it. And I would never use those words to make a point. I would never drop an F-bomb to say you shouldn't say the F word to make my point about saying the F word. It just doesn't fit who I am or how I want to build my arguments. I can use facts for that. It also means that I, to use my mother's terms, can't come up with a better word to use. And sometimes anger gets to you, but this doesn't feel like one of those instances. It feels like Gary Patterson was just trying to actually belittle one of his players, which is even worse now that you think about it. And I'm so tired of talking about crap on this channel at any time. I mean, it sucks right now if you're a sports fan. That's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I had to jump in here, stop watching Denver and OKC to talk about Caleb Kelly's horrific injury, Tanner Mordecai and what might going on there, and then Gary friggin' Patterson, who apparently has not learned after 20 years of being a head coach what you cannot say to your players in this age of everybody knowing everything and in this age of Black Lives Matter. This sucks, man. I get it, all right? If you're with me on it, please stick with me as we continue to ride this thing out. We're getting close to like 49,000 subscribers at the time of this upload. I'm sending out the stickers to everybody. Like, my girlfriend brought her girls over today, and I got to hang out with them and ride bikes, and she was amazed at how many of y'all wanted to get stickers. She's like, are all those envelopes for stickers? I was like, yeah, people want to get into it. There's a link in the description below if you would like one of these stickers. It basically $5 covers the cost of mailing it and printing up the stickers. Don't make much of anything on this at all. So I'm doing it because I want to include you, and I'm trying to create this inclusive environment where we can all be civil and talk about college football, and yet this crap still keeps happening. All right, that's it for me. Doses.